I don't want to do probation. I don't want you to keep me in the system. I'm not going to play no games. And neither are you.
This is the moment Jason Dacon's own excuse walked him straight into a prison sentence he asked for. He thought he'd outsmarted the system. 7 felonies deep, 48 years old, standing in front of a judge who'd seen him before, 3 times before, actually, and this time he had a plan. Skip probation, skip the drug counselors, skip all of it. Just take the prison time and walk away clean when it's over. No strings, no system, no games.
With 7 felonies under his belt and a serious drug problem, Jason Dacon shows no signs of wanting to turn his life around. Now, at 48, he finds himself in front of a judge for stealing over $1,000 worth of scratch-off lottery tickets from his employer. In a surprising twist, he's actually asking for a straight prison sentence. Why? So he can dodge the rules of probation when he eventually gets out. It's almost comical how he believes he can shift the blame for his failures onto the system. But the judge is ready to give him a wake-up call that he'll remember for a long time.
State of Ohio versus Jason Dacon. Mr. Dacon is before the court with his counsel, Mr. Huss, Ms. Tranter, on behalf of the state of Ohio. Ms. Tranter, what are we doing?
Your Honor, it's my...
That's what he told the judge, word for word. I'm not going to play no games, and neither are you. The judge didn't even blink. State of Ohio versus Jason Dacon. Felony theft, 5th degree. He'd stolen over $1,000 in scratch-off lottery tickets from the store where he worked. Simple case. Should have been a quiet plea deal. A few minutes of paperwork, done.
Understanding Mr. Dacon is prepared to change his plea today to guilty to 1 count of the indictment, which is an F5 theft.
That's correct, Your Honor. All right, Mr. Dacon, they're telling me that you're going to change your plea to guilty to the 1 count of the indictment. Before I get to your change of plea, I am required to go over some things with you. Okay, sir?
It wasn't, because Dacon didn't want the deal everybody expected. He wanted straight time, no probation, no supervision, no system, as he kept calling it. And the second he said that out loud, the judge's whole posture changed. Why would you want to do that? The judge asked. Because I don't want you to keep me in the system. Dacon said, tripping over his own words. The judge just looked at him long enough that the silence itself became the loudest thing in the room. Before any of that, though, there was the paperwork, the formalities. The judge walked through it like he'd done it 1,000 times, because he had. Are you a citizen? Yes, sir. Did anyone threaten you? No, sir. Are you currently under the influence of anything? No, I am not. Routine questions, routine answers. But underneath the routine, something was building. How far did you go in school? The judge asked. I went all the way until probably the 11th grade, Dacon said. Small detail, almost nothing. But it sat there. A 48-year-old man, 7 felonies behind him, never finished high school, standing alone at the podium without family in the room, without anyone there for him. Just him and his attorney and a system he said he didn't want to be part of anymore.
Yes, sir.
How old are you?
I am 48.
How far did you go in school?
I went all the way until probably the 11th grade.
Can you read it?
You almost feel for the guy. Almost. Then the judge started laying out the numbers and the room shifted again. Felony of the 5th degree, 12 months max, $2,500 fine max. Post, release control up to 2 years if he violates. 1 year mandatory if he catches a new felony while on it. The judge read every line of it flat, mechanical, like a man who'd said these exact words 100 times and would say them 100 more.
It says you're running a plea of guilty to theft, a felony of the 5th degree. That carries a maximum penalty of 12 months in prison and a maximum fine of $2,500. The prison term is not mandatory. Do you understand the maximum penalty?
Yes, sir.
You're also subject to a discretionary period of post-release control, which means if you're sent to prison on this charge when you are released, the Adult Parole Authority may supervise you for up to 2 years. If you violate that supervision, the Adult Parole Authority can return you to prison for up to 1/2 of the court's original sentence. If your violation is that you commit another felony, you can be returned to prison for 1 year or the period that you have left on PR.
Dacon said he understood every time. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But then came the pause, the kind that makes you sit up in your seat. I know you've been before me before. the judge said. You've had, what, 4 prior indictments in front of me.
Mr. Dacon, I mean, I know you've been before me before. You've had, what, 4 prior indictments in front of me?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I had 7 felonies before this one.
Yes, I have. I had 7 felonies before this one. Dacon added 7 felonies, not 7 arrests, 7 felonies. And here he was again, same courtroom, same judge, asking to skip the one thing that might actually help him. In the past, the judge said, it has always been my desire to try to get you to stop using illegal drugs.
I mean, in the past, every time you've appeared before me, it has always been my desire to try to get you to stop using illegal drugs.
Yes,
Obviously, it's not working. Would you agree?
I agree. It's not really working because
Yeah, obviously it's not working. Would you agree? And this is where Dacon's whole defense started to unravel in real time. I agree it's not really working, he said, because, well, for one, there was a lot of people that I thought that were true in what they said, right? And then you come to believe that, then you learn to believe that that's not always, their heart's not in it. If your heart's not in it, then you're not going to help the next person. He rambled, he circled.
it's not really working because, well, for one, there was a lot of people that I thought that were true in what they said, right? And then you come to believe that, then you learn to believe that that's not always, their heart's not in it. If your heart's not in it, then you're not going to help the next person. And that's the way I believe that some of the counselors and some of the people that I've been around over these processes.
He blamed the counselors. He blamed the people around him. He blamed everyone except the one person the judge was pointing to, himself. The judge let him finish. Then he delivered the line that's about to end up in every comment section under this video. Well, Mr. Dacon, that's kind of a cop-out in my opinion.
Dacon, that's kind of a cop-out in my opinion. My observations, and I've been doing this for 10 years now, but my observation is the responsibility is yours. And if you haven't gotten to a place in your life that you're ready to make a change for good, then you're going to continue to misbehave and use illegal drugs and break the law. And that's on you. That's not on the counselors. That's not on your probation officer. That's you. You make a choice. You make a bad choice. You suffer a bad consequence. So that's kind of a cop-out for you to say it's on the system or it's.
Silence. My observation is the responsibility is yours, the judge continued. You make a choice. You make a bad choice. You suffer a bad consequence. You could feel the air leave the room. Dacon didn't have a comeback. He just sat there while the judge kept going, calm, controlled, absolutely unwilling to let him rewrite the story. That's not on the counselors. That's not on your probation officer. That's you. 2 sentences, 6 words each. And just like that, every excuse Dacon had spent the last 2 minutes building collapsed. But here's where it gets worse for him, because the judge wasn't done laying out what was actually on the table. He wanted a pre-sentence investigation. He wanted an updated drug assessment. He wanted, in his own words, to try to get additional treatment for a man who tested positive for meth and cocaine just weeks earlier. Dacon didn't want any of it.
So what you're saying is what?
I'm saying that if we proceed today with this plea and I accept it and find you guilty,
Yeah.
I'm going to order a pre-sentence investigation because I need an updated assessment for you. I mean, I have some information, but it's in my opinion, it's outdated. I know that you tested positive recently for methamphetamines and cocaine.
Yeah, and I'd like to say something about that.
Well, I'm not going to get into that right now.
I don't want to do that, he said flatly. The judge asked again, plainly, making sure it was on the record. So what you're saying is, if we proceed today with this plea, and I accept it and find you guilty, I'm going to order a pre-sentence investigation because I need an updated assessment for you. Yeah, Dacon said. And then almost pleading, and I'd like to say something about that. Well, let's I'm not going to get into that right now. Shut down immediately. No room for negotiation. No room for another rambling explanation. The judge had heard enough excuses for one afternoon, so they moved forward. The prosecutor confirmed the agreed sentence, 7 months, straight time, no probation, exactly what Dacon asked for.
Judge, I represented to Mr. Huss, we kind of had this discussion in the lobby. I represented that I would do a 7-month agreed sentence. If that's the way the defendant wants to go, I will still honor that.
I'll do a 7 month.
All right.
You sure about that?
Yep.
The facts were read into the record. He'd worked at a Quick Mart, taken scratch off tickets without paying, over $1,000 worth, plain and simple theft from the very place that employed him.
Your Honor, in addition to the facts alleged in the indictment, the details of this was that he was working at Joe's Quick Mart and took scratch-off lottery tickets without paying for them in an amount over $1,000.
Mr. Huss, anything on those facts?
Nothing on the facts.
Mr. Dacon, did you hear the statement that she read?
I did, sir.
Do you admit and acknowledge that what she said is true?
Dacon admitted it. All of it. No fight left in him at that point. But then, right before sentencing, he asked one more question. And it's the kind of question that tells you everything about a man who still doesn't fully understand what he just agreed to.
Judgment and sentence.
Yes, sir. I have one question.
All right.
So what she's saying is I get 7 months in penitentiary and come out with nothing, right?
Well, from this court, yes. You are still subject, as I said, to a discretionary period of post-release control, which I have no control over. And I can't make any representations other than to tell you that the adult parole authority...
So what she's saying is I get 7 months in penitentiary and come out with nothing, right? Well, from this court, yes, the judge said, you are still subject to a discretionary period of post-release control, which I have no control over. Dacon nodded like he already knew that, like he'd already made peace with it. Maybe this was the plan all along. Take the time, get it over with, never answer to a probation officer again. The judge wasn't finished making his position clear, though. The court will find that probation would not adequately punish you, he said, reading the formal findings into the record due to your refusal, or let me say, desire not to be placed on any type of supervision.
Okay, the court's considered the statements made here today, the purposes and principles of sentencing, the relevant seriousness and recidivism factors. The court has also considered the agreed recommended sentence of the parties and finds it to be an appropriate sentence. The court will further find that probation would not adequately punish you due to your refusal or let me say desire not to be placed on any type of supervision, and the prison sentence is necessary to fulfill those purposes and principles of sentencing due to your failure to respond to previous supervision sanctions. So the court will order you to serve 7 months in prison by way of this agreed recommended sentence.
7 months, 47 days jail credit already served, over $1,200 in restitution ordered, even though the court found Dacon indigent for fines and costs. And one more layer hanging over his head that he apparently didn't fully register, because right after sentencing, he asked the judge to explain post-release control all over again. So are you saying you're going to let me out today? No, the judge said. You're going to prison today. Okay, okay. Like it hadn't quite landed yet. Like a man who'd spent so long fighting the system that he almost forgot what it actually meant to lose. The judge walked him through it one more time anyway. Patient, direct, no sarcasm, no cruelty. Just facts laid out plainly for a man who needed them, said slowly.
Again, you're subject to this discretionary post-release control, which I spoke about a moment ago. Do you need me to go over that with you again?
No, sir, I'm fine.
You sure? Because I can explain it again.
So this post-release control, right, are you saying you're going to let me out today?
No, you're going to prison today.
Okay.
So what happens is when your prison sentence is finished,
Yes, sir.
You're going to serve 7 months minus 47 days.
Right.
You might be eligible for up to 1.
If the parole authority puts him on post-release control after his sentence, they can supervise him for up to 2 years, violate that, and he's back inside for up to 3.5 months. catch a new felony, and it's a full year consecutive on top of whatever new time he gets. The system, Dacon said he wanted no part of, was never fully off the table, not even close. You have a right to appeal. The judge told him 12, the District Court of Appeals, 30 there. No, sir. Dacon said when asked if he had questions. All right. The judge said, you're remanded into the custody of the Warren County Sheriff for transport to the Department of Corrections.
No, sir.
All right. You're remanded into the custody of the Warren County Sheriff for transport to the Department of Corrections.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Jason Dacon got exactly what he bargained